I challenge anybody to pick up what we just
it looks.
eyeballing. You wouldn't.
You'd say, okay, we're good.
We're good.
Mean,
we're good to go. And you're not probably going to hurt the limb to keep bending it. But here's the thing: we want to get it perfect.
Right.
And again, once you get it perfect, sometimes once I get it perfect, and I start bending, I can go 5 inches
at a time
without having to.
So then you're actually speeding up.
Then at that point, I got to do weight reduction.
Right.
And we'll show you an easy way to do weight reduction without throwing the tiller. All right, Thad, now it's taken us 3 or 4 attempts here at taking wood off, basically pencil marks at the time. And we've got it very good.
We know everything's as even as we can get it.
And we've pretty much got mirror images on both halves.
Right.
The elliptical tiller will put less stress on the bow and the limbs overall. So now we're going to do the other
Catch
limb.
up, yeah.
So first thing I'm going to do is now if I want this area here 8 inches, which is normally what I do, I want the fade starting about here. Same thing, I got 30 inches. I'm going to put a mark in the middle. A good mark right there. And this limb is not bending quite as much as that one because we've taken wood off. But I do notice a little something.
Hold on, Keith, let me help you. Hold it.
And we're going to go here and here. And swap the bow over so we can see it better with the camera. And I've got a rigid area in there.
Right in here, yeah.
Hold it right. Right in here.
Yep.
But we seem to be a little stiff right there and right in here. Okay, but this is ever so minuscule now, fellas.
Yeah.
You would never pick this up eyeballing it, what we're looking at here. Okay, let's just go ahead and go another inch or 2.
Yeah.
And then we'll correct based on what we see there.
Well, some guys use the grid stuff and all that, but...
Well, from what I see on the grid, it tells you pretty accurately where your tips are, but it don't tell you a lot about what's going on.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could set them up to where they would correspond, but this just seems so much easier.
Yeah.
And
I don't know, we make our bows outside because I like making bows open air because I don't like breathing the dust. Because
I like hearing the birds and chirping and everything.
And plus, I mean, a lot of bowwoods are toxic.
That's right.
You don't want to breathe it.
But this bow's pretty much perfectly tillered right now.
Yeah.
And not to say you can't eyeball a very good tiller at this distance, but this yardstick is telling me this is virtually perfect.
Yeah.
We're not perfect mirror image. We're slightly aggressive, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But we're going to go another inch or 2 and see what we get. That looks pretty good, don't it?
Yeah.
Slightly a little bit more right in here.
Yeah.
But not enough to be an issue. And same thing, we got a little more in here.
Yep, that's right.
So I tell you what, considering that, let's just take from here
Out.
out to there. And I'm going to do this a little bit more than I'm going to do that. But I'm going to even do that a little
I got
bit.
you.
And so, but I tell you, this looks pretty dang close. It might be a little bit more right here, stiff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm going to do a little bit the whole limb,
Okay.
ever so slightly. Because this limb's overall has got a little bit more bend than this
Yeah.
one. It's right in that area,
Yep.
right there where I'm marked, right?
Yeah, it's thicker. What's it looking like, Keith?
It's looking pretty good. And what we're looking for is a mirror image from here
To there.
to here. And that's pretty much what we have right there. Very, very close.
Yep.
Close enough to move on.
Right. Yep. Looks good.
Same thing. We're looking from a mirror image from here to here. It's very close. We got a little bit more bend in here. I'm going to take out a little bit of wood right in here. So I'm going to put my pencil mark from here all the way down. Right here.
Keith's still working on getting the limbs balanced, everything perfectly even.
Well, we've had a slightly aggressive tiller right from the beginning, and we're getting it where we've got it bending about 4 inches, and we're still slightly aggressive on this, bending a little bit more in this inner part. So we're gonna keep, as it shows up, we're just gonna keep adjusting. We're keeping this thing very evenly balanced.
And we're not putting any stress on anything
No.
so far. This bow ain't been stressed a bit.
As long as you keep mirror images on both sides, you're not going to stress the limb.
Right. Look
Good.
nice.
Good. Very good. We're just now getting these limbs bending to where a brace height, about a 5-6 inch brace height. And it's okay to keep your bow bent, you know, while you're using
Adjusting,
yardstick and
measuring.
all that stuff. As you get further into it and you start getting toward final draw length, you need to do what you're going to do up here real quick. Look at it, make your mark, and get that strain
Yeah.
up.
Don't let it sit there forever.
Don't leave it sitting there. But by the time you get there, and you, even if you start doing this your first time, you will have put it up there so many times. By the time you get to full draw, you'll be really good at just putting it up there and say, okay, a little bit here.
Yeah.
Okay, looks good. Pop it off.
Yeah.
But if you keep it right and you get to toward full draw, you're going to find there's not going to be much tillering,
Right. Yeah.
hardly any. So a lot of times I have gone from a 18-inch draw all the way to my 25 and never have to adjust the tiller.
Right.
It's just
Yeah, everything was
18
perfect,
Inches, pull
yeah.
it down at 19. Good. I let it up and I let it rest. Pull it down to 20. Good. Let it rest. Now, those 2 inches, you're going to gain 4 pounds of bow weight. So if you want 50 pounds and now you're at 54, you need to take the 4 pounds of bow weight off.
That's right.
But we're going to show how to do that and not throw the tiller. And basically it's by these pencil marks.
Yeah.
If you have a perfect tiller and you want to take on both limbs and you want to take 5 pounds off, just scratch up these limbs and sand the pencil marks away.
Yeah.
Now you may have to do it 10 times to drop 5 pounds, but when you get through, you won't swing the tiller.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of people they want to do it fast, putting draw knives and all this stuff on it. You can do that when you've made 50 bows.
Yeah.
But if you want to be very careful and make a really good bow and do it right the first time, do it the slow way. And just remember that little phase. Sometimes slowing down will speed you up.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
not fighting tiller is the biggest way to speed up,
Right.
even if it seems slow, to reduce the weight.
And it reduces your anxiety.
Absolutely. And here's what I like to do, and I'll just say it now in case I don't remember it later on. And I'm after a 25-inch draw. I only tiller to 23. I don't hang this thing up, and I shoot in the last 2 inches. I think you do about the same thing. Now we're ready to put a tight string on this thing.
Maybe at about
And
4 inches.
You get this to where it looks virtually perfect.
Yeah.
Now when I did that, I saw slightly aggressive. When this one, I see ever so slightly aggressive. And I'm going to take that out. And I want it virtually perfect, because there's a couple of places you want it perfect before you proceed. I want to see the bow straight to begin with, perfectly straight. When I get to brace height, I want it perfectly flawless. Spending time, a little time right there, you'll go through this last 10 inches
Faster.
unbelievably faster.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to get down to your final 4 or 5 inches and be struggling and trying to correct.
No,
and
no.
having problems.
And we will not be doing that. I'd be willing to bet you, though, we could string that bow right now and shoot it and it wouldn't break.
Yeah.
Because we got it so perfect right here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're right about
Guarantee
that.
you.
Yeah.
It's that close.
Now, this may not be that usable for you guys that's built 100 bows, but there's a lot of guys that hadn't.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
And just slowing down in the early stages and getting everything perfect.
But like I say, the biggest thing I see with people that come in to do workshops and their bow's not bending enough right here. And they've overstressing it. This is why they're breaking a lot of bows in here. They're overstressing it, too much set. And then what we'll do is we'll tiller this bow on out to say 22 inches, 23 inches, and we're going to be at 25. You and I both shoot 25. At that point, we're going to thin the handle, which we can barely feel it and give,
Yeah.
and it'll be done. So
Why don't you demonstrate that?
I'll let you do it.
I'm not.
What's that? 6,
Yeah.
7 inches, 6.5, 7 inches almost.
Yeah.
And she's sitting pretty.
Yeah.
Both limbs mirror image, and you see from the looks of it.
No stress.
From the looks of it, we still got all the back set we started
Right.
with, and we haven't stressed anything.
Nothing. I tell you what, that's a very light bow with very little mass. I mean,
Yeah.
I like that.
Oh, it'll be a shooter.
Yeah.
No doubt. I mean, this limb is beautiful.
Yep. And this one?
Beautiful. We've got a beautiful elliptical tiller, and it was ever so slightly aggressive, ever so slightly, and it's now pretty much perfectly elliptical, which that means it did whip out a little bit, just ever so slightly.
A little under 5, 4 3/4.
But right now we're perfect. I mean, you couldn't ask for any more perfect.
Yeah.
And like I said once before, I'd be willing to bet you we could take that right there and draw it all the way back.
Oh, I bet.
And it would shoot without breaking.
If I could pull it back.
As good as that tiller, even just right there.
I don't know what the poundage would be.
It'd be a bunch.
Yeah.
But
We got to remove more wood.
let's keep going. We got a
Okay.
lot of weight removal.
Okay.
And most of what we're doing from here on is going to be weight removal.
That's right.
It won't be tillering.
That's right.
Most of the tiller work has already been accomplished
Yeah.
at brace height. And see, I just popped down here. I just went that far.
Right.
Right there.
Yeah.
And if you'll take a look at that, tell me what you see.
It looks perfect.
Flawless.
Yeah. Perfect.
Perfect. So since we're perfect right here, I'm just going to go ahead and come down 2 more inches right there.
Okay.
Since we're in the early stages of this.
All right.
And perfect.
Looks nice.
Perfect. Let's go ahead and put it to scale on it. We're going to pull it down to right here and see what weight we got. We're at 27 pounds, so we got a long way to go. 12 inches.
12 inches.
Here,
Yeah.
so at 25, we got another 13 inches to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, 13.
Yeah.
And we do have this bow an inch or 2 longer. We could take an inch off each end and pick up 5 pounds, just
Right,
like
yeah.
that. And that's something else I always promote, making your bows at least 2 inches longer than you want. That way, if your weight comes in a little bit low, you can cut an
You
inch
got it,
off each end,
yeah.
and there's 5 pounds right there.
Yeah.
You know. From here on, what we want to do is, when we pull this string down here and lock it in, like I said one time before, you want to put that yardstick up, look at
Get
it,
it done.
get it over here, and get that string back up. Don't give this thing too much hang time. So I'm gonna look at it, and I'm gonna say it looks good. I'm gonna look at it, and it looks good, and give it a second. All right, I'm gonna take it down another inch.
That looks perfect.
Perfect.
Dead even.
All right, now we're all the way down here, and since brace height, we have not had to touch the tiller.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
That's
Yeah.
what getting it perfect
Yeah.
at brace height and them levels does for you.
Yeah.
How many people's monkeying with tiller back and forth?
Oh
down
yeah.
through here?
Yeah.
Slow down to speed up.
Mm-hmm.
Look how much we've gone through and we hadn't even had to touch it.
Yeah. That's right.
I mean, we're almost finished. And literally, I've gone from 12 inches here all the way through without ever having to touch the tiller on.
Yeah.
You see how fast this went?
Great jumps.
And here in 10 minutes, we've done that and haven't had to touch the tiller. And then, if you really want to know what slowing down to speed up, when you're out of control and you lose control and you end up with a bow you don't want, you get to start over again.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's pretty.
Beautiful. We done went from brace height to 22 inches and never touched the tiller.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
All right.
If you get a little frustrated, I think just leave it. I mean, if you're starting to get tired or something, just stop for a little while.
Oh, I meant to say that one time before we was talking about something. Most of the time, especially if I'm making a really high stress design, maybe a recurve, a sinew back recurve or something, and I get to within 3 inches of where I'm going to stop tillering. In my case, I draw 25, I'll tiller to 23. When I get to 20 inches, most of the time, I'll take it down and take it back to the house.
Yeah.
so that especially if I've been struggling with it a little
Right,
bit. And,
yeah.
and in really high stress recurves, sometimes there's a lot of power in those things, a lot of
You
stress.
lose focus, that's what happens.
So, if I ever find myself trying to rush or thinking I need to hurry up, it's getting dark in an hour,
Right, yeah.
or I get to losing light, and I put it down and walk off.
That's right.
And it's just like in flint knapping. It's one thing to make a little arrowhead. You go making a 8-inch blade that's that wide and an
Yeah.
1/8 of an inch thin. I find when I get 85%, 90% finished, I put it down and walk off. So I
right.
come back cautious
And fresh.
and fresh, and I've lost that hurry up mentality.
Right, that's right.
You know.
I shot how many times, Keith? I don't know.
I don't know, about 15, 20, and we're just shooting at 22 inches.
22 inches, yep.
We only got one more inch to tiller,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna shoot it on in.
We got the tape marking the draw, 22 inches to the tape.
You know, pulling a bow is one thing, but nothing really helps it show its form better than shooting it. And right now we're at 43 pounds at 22
inches, yeah.
So we're going to come in very close to our ideal, the weight we were shooting. We said, what, 45 to 50?
Yeah.
And we're going to be pushing 50 if we don't have to do anything else right now.
You kill a deer with this right now at 22 inch draw, no question.
That's it. And with the only, say to our draw length, that's 3 inches. That's 7 pounds, so that bow would be 50 pounds at 25 inches.
Look how dark those limbs are.
It still has most of the back set that it had in it. It didn't have a lot to start with,
No.
probably an inch. And we've had it on the tillering tree today, been tillering it, been shooting it some. And
That was just natural back set,
that was just natural.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything we fire hard.
and it's still there. That's pretty good.
And this bow being as long as it is, you know, and being a low stress design, it'll probably keep that little back set
Oh, yeah.
for just forever.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a long bow like that. I really do.
Yeah, I've really come to like a bow longer than the minimum. But I've learned, for me, it's making bows for a lot of other people in different lengths. I've come to really appreciate a longer
Oh, yeah.
bow than would be a minimum length. And at my 25-inch draw, 62 to minimum 62. I mean, I could get by with a 60, but I really like 64. And it's really a lot easier on the bow. It's a lot less stress.
That's right.
And the bow is it's just a sweeter shooting bow.
You make a bow like this, and this bow's gonna, I mean, you're not trying to make a speed demon. You're just trying to make a good, durable, long-lasting.
But these bows will shoot, my experience is, within 10 feet a second of a really high stress design.
Yeah.
My high stress bows, long bows, are going to be in the mid 170s. This will be in the mid 160s. A little bit more. We've got one limb that's ever so slightly aggressive tiller. I'm gonna take a little bit off of it, and we ought to be there.
Still a little stiff.
No, it looks good. All right, we're gonna go down one more inch, and we're gonna be at our 23. Looks good. That's good. We're at 47 pounds at 23.
47 at 23.
Yeah. 24. 25 right there.
How much weight you got?
50 pounds at 25.
50 pounds. Okay.
Right where I said it would be. Just pulled it to 25 inches. We're 50 pounds at 25, and it's exactly where we want it to be. And we've probably had to make one tillering adjustment from brace height to here, right?
Yeah.
And actually didn't even have to make any weight adjustment. We hit spot on the money. I guess we get lucky sometimes.
And we got 1/8, a little stronger in the bottom limb, which is what I always do. I like doing that. She's braced up really low right here.
Yeah.
I can tell you this thing's got early string tension, like, you know when you feel that, it's gonna sling an arrow.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's stout.
And what we want to show here, we browned this wood all the way through from the belly side to put most of the heavy fire hardening near the belly, where the height to give us the highest compression load. And of course, you can overdo that and go beyond where you should. But this is a normal piece of untreated hickory, and you see the difference in the color, and you see that this browning went all the way through. To talk about maybe some pros and cons to what we're doing, especially with fire hardening all the way through.
All right.
And you know, we teach primarily to brown about halfway through.
Right.
And that way we're leaving the back not thoroughly cooked.
Right.
The more you cook the back, in this case the browning goes all the way through, the back is somewhat cooked, the better you better be with your tillering. You take Osage, any really good bow wood, you can't be too crude with your tillering. Now you can take this raw white wood and you can make all kinds of tillering mistakes. And you'll make a bow that'll lob an arrow out there. Mm-hmm. And again, for you guys that's made 50 bows, none of this may be a concern to any of you. But for you fellows that struggle with this, it's just a warning when you start the fire hardening process. So if you haven't tillered many bows or any, my suggestion is get a piece of raw white wood and make you a couple of bows before you start deep diving on this. And it'll all come to you, and you'll all, it won't be long, you'll do this. But if you'll take this yardstick method, and you can be practicing with that, you can make bows just like this. Anybody can. Because, as you saw, the subtle nuances in the shape of this limb will jump out at you. And it doesn't require you having to make 50 bows to develop an eye to learn what to look for and how to see it. And I've made many bows, and believe me, I don't try to eyeball anything anymore. And I use that yardstick on every one of my bows, and I end up with bows like this. And this bow never took any strain. It'll always have back set. And you want a really top end performing bow. Don't strain it during the tillering process.
Right.
Once you damage that wood, it don't come back, and you're just carrying dead weight.
Right.
These fellows, when they get through with one of my workshops and they take their bow and put it up here and put the yardstick up, they're almost embarrassed with their tillering job that they did on it. And they thought it was really good. A lot of times they're really proud of these bows. But when they get through with one of these workshops and learning how to use that yardstick, they see how far off they were on their tillering.
Well, anybody making their first bows, they get a bow that shoots as long as it shoots, they're pretty happy that they made a successful bow, you know. But this is definitely a better way.
Yeah, and you just add so much life to your bow by not straining it
Right.
from the get-go. And I hope we did a good job explaining this. I'm sure there'll probably be some questions. And the best thing to do is just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
And you'll never, there's not a YouTube out there that's going to teach you more than that.
That's
Just
right.
get out there and do it, and you'll get it. This is not rocket science.
No. And when you fire harden, guys, you gotta stay with the cook. Don't get distracted. Don't walk away. You got to finesse it. And look at the darkness on those limbs. This thing was on the fire, what?
4 hours,
4 hours.
2 different times.
Yeah.
For 4 hours. Don't be afraid to brown the wood. Now again, if I was making a rigid handle bow and a short bow with a lot of back set, I personally don't want to brown it all the way through. But I've done it on accident plenty of times and the bow's held up very well. But it's not necessary. This bow will not shoot any faster or harder than one that's browned halfway through, because all the compression is on the belly half. The sole purpose for going beyond is for the 1,000-year bow, to make a bow. We want to show you how to make a bow that was most likely done 1,000 years ago, that these southeastern natives could take in a month-long hunting trip, and that was not uncommon to go out 400 miles to go on a hunting trip.
Or a war party or whatever.
Yeah. And they could stay out in the elements camping, and these whitewood bows would still perform when they got to where they were going. So that's what this is about. I hope we accomplish that goal.
Right.
I know it got me a really fine bow. And I tell you, I said, I want to make a good bow. This is not going to be, let's see what we can do bow. I want to
something
make a
we
good
didn't
bow.
mention. I feel it at full draw. Well, I haven't come full draw with it, but at 22 inches, I'm feeling a slight little flex.
Yeah, it's starting to give.
Yeah, so I noticed the stress in the wood is spread out.
Yeah. It turned out perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. Okay. Take a few.
Looks really good. This bow ain't stressed at all. 50 pounds at 25. I mean, it's a good hard shooting bow and no stress. Perfect. I mean, this thing was on the fire for 4 hours. 4 hours. But a fine-tuned tiller, no problems. If you made mistakes with a tiller on any bow, it can be a problem. Any bow, no matter what it's made of. But that's good, man.
Don't be afraid to try.
Yeah.